Welcome to Health Tip Tuesday. So today I went into the crates of all my books and stuff that I've collected throughout the years, and I just grabbed one of them because I realized I always think I don't have anything to share, and when it comes to content, but with all the books I have up in here. So today I grabbed one of my binders, The Complete Guide to Natural Healing, and I'm just turned to the first page of one of them. There's like 5 binders that of this. I don't know if y'all remember back in the day where they had, this is probably the 80s and 90s because I know they don't do this anymore. Maybe more than 90s. Where they would send you these clubs. Like back in the day, it used to be like CD club, you pay a membership and then they'll send you a new one each week or whatever. Anyway, they had one for this particular for health, and they would send you the binder, and then they'll send you so many pages every so often, until you have your own collection. So I've had them for years, thinking like, oh, I'm gonna use it as a reference. Well, today I've decided we gonna be sharing, not we, but I'm gonna be sharing the information that's in the books, education. So first page that I took, as I was saying, it says your garden is your pharmacy, basically. So first one that comes up, card number 1, is thyme. So this is what I will be sharing with you today. And I just read it because, like I said, I ain't looked at this book in a long time. But I just read it, and even I just learned some stuff about thyme that I didn't know. So I am just going to read this to you guys, and hopefully you get something out of it. So thyme, true thyme, the cultivated form of wild thyme, has long been a favorite in the garden. The aromatic herb enhances flavor, stimulates digestion, and improves appetite. Beyond its culinary value, however, are other properties that account for thyme's long history of medicinal use. So I'm going to stop right there. So most of us who cook may be familiar with thyme, and actually I don't know. I would say I didn't get really familiar with thyme until later on in my journey in cooking and whatnot, because my mom didn't really use thyme in her cooking often. But I noticed in aromatherapy and a lot of other medicinal, thyme is like a powerhouse, and you'll see once I actually finish reading this. But usually thyme is always associated with cooking, right? Italian dishes, that type of thing. I know now that I've been to Jamaica, I realize thyme is used a lot over there as well. So back to reading. Just wanted to point that out. So for instance, thymol, thyme's main active ingredient, helps inhibit the growth of fungus and bacteria. Did you guys know that? I did not know that. So think about it. All these topical things that we're using on our bodies, steroids, all the kind of stuff, for like toe fungus and throat bacterial, things, we could just be going in our garden or going to the store, planting, that's why a lot of people right now are planting gardens and planting herbs to have it readily available, especially because of this pandemic that just passed. Well, okay, anyway, I have to start where I left off because something popped on my screen and just totally stopped the recording. So anyway, let's just repeat what I read. So for instance, thymol, thyme's main active ingredient, helps inhibit the growth of fungus and bacteria. So use thyme now instead of that other stuff in the drugstore. This makes it ideal in liniments and other topical applications for skin wounds and bacteria and fungal infections. You see what I'm saying? No synthetic stuff have to even be put on your body. You can boil it to drink tea. You can boil it in oil to make thyme oil. You can also get you some thyme oil or aromatherapy. Let it be fragrance in the air. Have any type of eczema, psoriasis, you know, bumps, whatever. You can probably gargle with the water once it's, you know, been infused, or just drink it. I know a lot of I think it's Indian culture, no, that's fennel, talk about that later, but in the same difference, cooking it could help with internal issues as well. So for instance, it's not only great for outside, thyme is equally useful for treating respiratory congestion, COVID, and ailments such as bronchitis, inflammation of the bronchi, asthma, inflammation of the lungs, whooping cough, inflammation, mucus, and sore throat, inflammation, tonsils. So the herb has proved its worth not just as a home remedy, but in sick rooms and hospitals. This is way before all that pharmaceutical stuff came out. So, what else was I going to share with you? Oh, before I go to the other back side. So it says here that the ancient Greeks burned thyme as a stimulating incense. The word thyme is derived from the Greek to make a burnt offering. So just take you some time, kind of like what they do with sage, right? They do the sage bundles, sage the air. You can do the same thing for thyme. So if you don't know what thyme looks like, I bought thyme. I've tried to do an herb garden and failed, so I'm trying it again. But this time I got one that had them all. I had 3 in 1, and I've already almost killed 2. Thyme is very, very strong. This is fresh. I just cut it, and you know, it is so soft. Like, you see, it's not even like breaking off. It's green, right? I have some in the cupboard that is dry, and you know, that's a lot harder. This kind of reminds me, like, it smells like pine, and I usually don't like pine smells. That's probably why when I was younger I didn't really like thyme. But for the benefits of it, like, I can just take the leaves off of here and put it in my strainer and boil it, or just make tea out of it. You know, for the part that gets me, which, did I read that part? But it helps with gas, and so a lot of times when you eat and you don't do food combining and you eat a lot of foods that don't combine well together, your body will explode and your stomach would hurt, and you know, because it's so gassy, you just drink you some thyme tea. But also learned how to actually garden the thyme. I bought this thyme, and now, especially reading this, that's why they dying. I'm overwatering it. I literally soaked that mug, and it says here It's basically a good dry desert type of a plant. So, so I'm gonna read the part about gardening the thyme for those people who want to start an herb garden, right? So, the characteristics of thyme is an evergreen bush with strongly branching woody stems. The small gray-green leaves are elliptical and rolled under at the edges. Excuse me. The small flowers range from pale pink to violet in color. Now, something I'm learning now that I'm doing a lot of this like gardening and herbs and stuff like that, I had no, because it's always in a store, right? It's like shows you when you're so far from the source of it, you have no idea. Most people do that I know around me, but I did not know that a lot of these herbs still flower, which, you know, if I thought harder, I guess I would have to think that something helps it grow and regrow because it has to be pollinated. And usually flowers are pollinated, which creates seeds, so the wind blows and it gets them back onto the ground. Yeah. So I had no idea that these little things create flowers. And so this actually has a picture of the flower. Now, if I just saw that, I would just, the flower is the only thing that I'd be looking at. Not even think, I'm just thinking like, oh, the rest is just leaves. Like, but they have flowers. And my basil that I have out there, I actually cut it because it basically said don't let it flower. So, and I saw that they have white flowers. A client, because like I said, everybody's doing herb gardens and stuff like that. Client brought me, I didn't know it at the time, one stem, and I was thinking like, but I saw the proof at the top, so I thought, I'm like, he bringing me a flower? He was like, oh no, I brought you a green onion from my garden, one stem. I was like, oh, I didn't know it had a flower on top. Talk about some uneducation, right? Yeah, so your herbs have flowers on the top. Yes. So, to care for your nice little thyme, says thyme thrives in well, dry soil with lean nutrients. No fertilization is necessary to promote growth, and you don't need to give it extra water, which I did. Man, I'm just happy that this is like a tough as nails type of a herb, because the two that's on side of it, the oregano and what was it, oregano, thyme, and was it sage? I don't even remember anymore. They on their last leg. I'm hoping that the soil will dry out enough that it'll repopulate, hopefully, because I hate wasting money every time I have to go and buy me another herb and then try again. That's a lot of money, shoot. So anyway, it says harvest thyme lightly during late fall and winter. Don't cut it vigorously during these months. You will weaken the plant or cause it to become woody. Now, harvesting and processing. Harvest thyme in the middle of the day when the plant has the highest concentration of essential oils. Cut off at the shoots about 4 inches above the soil line shortly before the plant blooms in May or June, which it's May and June. So now I'm gonna have to really look at my thing, make sure it doesn't flower. Bundle the cut stems together and hang the bundle in a dry bundles to dry in a shaded, well ventilated place. When the stems are dry, pluck the leaves and the buds for use in cooking, teas, and remedies. The buds for use, store dried thyme in glass jars away from the light, which is interesting because to help them grow, it's like it says needs a sunny, warm location with good drainage, but yet it thrives in dry soil, needs a little water, and avoid humidity. Contradiction. And then when it's of course dead, then dried out and keeping it away from the sun. So uses in the kitchen, thyme in both fresh and dried form is a long-standing favorite and ideal for flavoring almost all meat and vegetable dishes. It increases digestibility because thymol is a volatile oil. It's antispasmodic and can calm the action of intestinal muscles. So antispasmodic means that you're, when you feel like you have a spasm, or like you'd be like, oh, or like a Charlie horse or whatever, that's when your muscles spasm. This is an antispasmodic, and that's actually good to know. So the other part about it is that it can calm the action of intestinal muscles, preventing gas. So that's what I was talking about earlier about the gas. Like if you're bloated or whatever, drink some thyme tea or just eat some thyme. And I'm probably going to do the same because today I did combine foods that were not supposed to be together. Hence, tortillas, flour tortillas. I don't really eat a lot of bread, and sometimes I take the chance. So now I'm bloated. Anyway, where was I? So combining thyme and rosemary, I like rosemary. Similar herbs increases this effect. The essential oil extracted from the plant by distillation is well suited for rubs, meaning rubbing on your body, massage, baths, and washes. So if you want to make your own soaps, body washes, it's a good one to put in there. Take a bath. Maybe I'll start carrying me some thyme with me and just throw the whole leaf up in the hot water. It's natural, so why not? And then always dilute the oil and use it only in moderation. Avoid thyme altogether. Note. If you are pregnant, do not use thyme oil. Extra tip for the gardening. Thyme grows well in rock gardens and makes a lovely and decorative garden border. Its powerful odor is said to repel white flies and cabbage worms. So I wish I should look if it repels mosquitoes too, because it's getting summertime and them suckers are gonna start coming around. Yeah, I think that's it. So we kind of went over both health and gardening. So if you get a chance, get you some thyme. I would suggest, if you're not a green thumb, buy thyme that's not a baby. Buy it when it's already like a teenager, so you don't have to start from scratch, because that fickleness of these herbs when they babies is just too much. Like, I spent way too much money. But that's gonna wrap up my health tip Friday, and I'll see you guys later.